Hello and welcome to the second episode of Ask-a-Techie at Keele University. My name is Tim Smale, e-learning fellow with the Faculty of Health, and to my left I have Dan Harding from the Faculty of HUMS, and to my right I have Matthew West from the LPDC. We're going to start out by answering some of your questions. We appreciate that at the moment it's the summer. Most people are on annual leave, etc. So we're going to look at some technology news towards the end of this episode as well. So we're going to dive straight in with the first question here. And it's from a member of staff who has asked, Google Glass, should we worry about students with this? Are they allowed to use them? Anyone want to dive in?
A potentially controversial subject. Very exciting technology. I'm wondering in what context the lecturer was thinking about students using the devices and not just the perhaps the staff using them.
I think this comes from staff worrying that they're being covertly recorded, which tends to be the public's worry over Google Glass. For those that aren't familiar with Google Glass, we have some nice images here from Google. I personally don't think they're that covert.
I'm inclined to agree. Yeah, I think they should be treated the same as audio recorders are used at the moment. That the students would normally have a conversation with the member of staff delivering the lecture, just ask for permission to record the lecture.
Yeah.
Generally, it would be in the need. The student would have a need to have a recording to refer back to later. So I don't think it should be treated any differently.
Okay. I think that they probably come into the same policy as most other devices. If the school or lecturer has put a ban on the use of recording devices, then they shouldn't be used for recording. And there is a little illumination on them when they are recording. But I think we have to put the onus of trust onto the students using these devices. There is, of course, the new Samsung Gear S smartwatch, which Samsung have just announced, which will also allow people to make and receive calls via their actual watch. I have an image here. This is the new Samsung's Gear S smartwatch. Some of these devices will, if not already, be able to do audio recording as well. So I think the onus is really educating the students as to what is and isn't appropriate inside the lecture-based environment.
I think it's fair to say as well that if there was a student within the classroom who was wearing Google Glass or something similar, it'd be fairly obvious to the person standing in the room that they were wearing that. So just having a quick chat with that student about why they were wearing it, whether they were just either recording or not recording, an easy enough conversation to have, I think, to solve any problems. Do
you think there's any benefit to Google Glass educationally in a lecture-based environment?
Early days. I'm sure there will be. Further down the line, there's plenty of things that...
There'll be a lot of discussion about it in the coming months, especially if the price comes down.
Yeah.
More easily available.
I'd be pretty surprised if there were any students with Google Glass at the moment.
Yeah.
Given the price of it. You never know.
I've actually seen one student on campus with them.
Really?
Yep.
Lucky person.
Okay, so let's move on to our next question. We were asked here, what file types are allowed in the KLE, and what is the best/preferred way of adding presentations? So I guess the first thing is IT Services did remind us that the last policy was written in 2008.
That would probably be about right.
Which banned the uploading of Microsoft Office document types to WebCT.
Indeed, that was way back when. Since then, the system itself is far more tolerant of various document types and uploading Word, PowerPoint.
They go in now, but there's still students that have difficulties in
Yeah,
accessing these?
they're not the easiest to access. With any online learning system, you just have to remember that it's basically a web page you're looking at. So web page based text is what works most effectively. Producing web pages has always been a difficult hurdle to get over. There's lots of ways of doing it. Lots of third-party pieces of software to produce very nice looking pages. But it's not easy. Not when you're used to writing out your notes and your essays and your journal articles and your publications using Word generally from Microsoft.
The policy in my schools has stayed that Microsoft Office documents are converted to PDFs before upload.
Indeed.
They're a lot easier on the end user to access those. But we've started to see a shift into using Google Drive, to placing documents into Google Drive and sharing them through there, either converting them or just leaving them as the original file type.
That is another way. I think I was just one thing to say about PDFs. It's often asked of myself, are they accessible for anybody using a screen reader or that needs to be able to any sort of accessibility device they might want to plug into their laptop or PC. PDFs are accessible, but you have to save them as an accessible version. Right. It's one of the options in the Save As area. And you've got to get it right. So if you're just putting up a standard PDF, that might not be wholly accessible. You have to check it.
Do you get given those settings when you're saving out of Microsoft Word and PowerPoint? Is it in one of the extra options that you see? It's
an option that you have to go and look for.
Okay.
It's quite easy to find it if you're actually using Acrobat Reader or Acrobat Pro. It's very much forefronted in the menus that are available. Okay. But yeah, it's worth considering that.
So I think probably the best way of doing it is actually asking your students for feedback on how you're uploading your content. Find out if your students are happy or unhappy with how it's being uploaded. I know that there's we have staff-student liaison groups in my schools, and they actually discussed with the students the best way to take a PowerPoint presentation. Is it uploaded as a single slide per page? Is it uploaded as colour? Is it uploaded as black and white? And so there's been those discussions in my schools. Is that sort of thing that happens in Hums?
It does come up every now and again, yeah. I think the problem that I used to have is that way back when we used to be, in 2008, we were talking about the guidelines, is that Microsoft Office used to install a third-party piece of software that would then convert to PDF, which was always a bit of a stumbling block for everybody to have that. These days, now that we've moved on a little bit and we're on Microsoft, it's at least Office 2010. That's already bundled in, so it's as easy as saving a normal Word document to save a PDF. So there's no real reason now why staff can't save a PDF, and also you can get Adobe Reader for free.
Yeah. Does it come still with Google Chrome PDF Reader?
I'm not sure.
I haven't downloaded a new version of Google Chrome.
I haven't checked.
No.
But it seems to me we're surrounded by devices here on the table today, and in 2008 these devices did not exist. So we've got all sort of Nexuses, phones, iPads, laptops, pen and paper. Apart from the pen and paper, none of these existed back in 2008. And there's a lot of effort going into making content look good on these devices that the students are turning up with, and a lot of members of staff now have.
But we also now have to remember that if you're accessing the Carely through the Blackboard app, which if you're not aware, there is an app available for Apple and Android devices for accessing Blackboard. Are we going to start running into the Microsoft Office file type problems again?
I don't suspect we will, because I have the app on my iPad for Blackboard mobile, and all file types open up very, very cleanly. And because it's got this natural flow on an iPad of using your finger to strike through a document, the pages just roll on. And I haven't come across a problem yet in getting a document to open up, but it is making some interesting questions about how we actually present the content on the page, because the mobile application is quite different from the online environment we're used to at the moment. Columns, just titles looking different on the screen. So it's worth it. We'll have to do a bit of exploration on that in the next few months and see if we have to tweak anything with the way that we actually present materials.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, the next 3 questions we've got are from the same person here, and they're all in relation to the assessment and well, the Blackboard assessment features, we actually, I think that it's best actually deferring that either to a discrete video that we'll ask to be produced or to our next session. Our resident expert on using the Blackboard assessment tools, Matt Street, is unable to be with us today. So I think if you two are happy, we'll leave that one to another session where it can be answered in
absolutely. So around
more
peer
intelligent
assessment.
detail.
Yep. We'll wait for Matt to come back from annual leave. That'll be really good.
Okay. So the last question I've got here. By the way, whilst we're answering this one, if you have any questions and you're watching us live, please use the Q&A tool. Please post your questions, and we will try and get to them. But the last one I have here is a member of staff asking us, how do they make their Google Calendar accessible to others, and can they choose who to make it available to? So let me just share my screen here and go into my calendar. This is a very simple one, but it's a very common one that does come up. Obviously, you'll have your calendar here on the left-hand side that starts with your name. And when you hover over it, you have a drop-down option there. And you can just go into Calendar Settings. And this is all of the settings for your calendar. You can see the title of the calendar is at the top there. You can actually change the title of your calendar if you wish to. But obviously, if it's yours, it's best leaving it as your name. And if you go into the Share This Calendar tab at the top there, this will bring up everyone that you have shared your calendar with. Now, there's a few ways of doing this. You can either share your calendar with everyone in the organisation at Keele University, and that includes staff and students. It doesn't discriminate between the roles people have here at university. And you can either give them the ability to see all of your event details or just the free and busy information. So I personally share my calendar, my free and busy, with everybody. It makes it easier for people that are trying to book meetings with me. Do either of you share your calendar institutionally?
Personally, no, but I've got nothing against people who do.
I actually don't, but no. I think everybody that I work closely with is in my list below.
Yeah.
As individuals that it's shared with.
The one to be very, very careful of is make this calendar public. This option at the top here makes it public. That goes out on the World Wide Web, and everybody can just rock up and see your calendar. And obviously, depending on if you've selected all event details or free and busy, they'll be able to see that information. The section below allows you to specify individual people. So if we didn't have this turned on at the top here, this sharing with the institution, or if the institution is only see free busy, you can actually come down here and specify individual people and specify their additional rights. So if we had in share with Keele University all event details, if I then put somebody down here and said only free and busy, then I think the organisational one, because that's more privileges, would probably take precedence and give them all of that. So just be careful of which way around you set these up. But in the individual stakes, you also get some additional options here. So you still get the see all events or see only free busy, but you also allow them to make changes to events and manage sharing. Now the top one is obviously only for people who are managing somebody else's diary, such as personal assistants, etc. Or if you're talking about sharing, for example, a school calendar. The other ones are the ones you're really going to want to use with general people. Once you've done all that, obviously just click the Save button at the bottom. Everybody that you've added in here will get an email letting them know that you've shared the calendar with them. The only other way of doing it is using Google Groups. So we have some Google Groups set up in the university. They're not the
Not widespread at the moment, are
No.
they? They're done on a custom basis, I think, Tim, at the moment.
Yeah, so putting in a top desk request, you can get a Google group set up.
You can.
So in my two schools, we have nursing.staff and SHA.staff. And so if I entered in those into this sharing setting here, then I could share it with just staff in those two schools, and then anybody that's a member of that group gets those rights. So it's a bit less open than Keele University sharing it with the organisation, but again that group has then got to be maintained, and at the moment there isn't many systems available to us for working with groups just yet, but hopefully that will come on board soon.
It's in the pipeline for in the next 12 months.
Then
from IT services.
The other thing to just share is when you create an event, on this full page here, you've got the privacy option down at the bottom, which is default public or private. And the word public there is a bit of a misnomer. Because I share my calendar, my free and busy information to everybody at Keele, if I selected public on this event, everybody who can see my calendar, so that's everybody at Keele, because they can see the free and busy, can now see the details of this event. But the World Wide Web public still wouldn't be able to come in and see these details. So it's a bit of a misnomer saying public. It's really allow those that can see free and busy information to see the details of this. And by contrast, if you'd shared all event details with everybody, then when you select private, that would take it back to them just only seeing free and busy information. So those are those little options down at the bottom there on creating a new event. So hopefully that has answered that question. We've got another question that's popped in here. Let's see if we can answer this one. I haven't proofread it. Are there any future dates planned for making the Carely Work For You workshops? Matt, one for your wheelhouse.
The basic workshop is still going to continue. The Making It Work For You workshops, they're being completely revamped.
Okay.
A lot of materials are going to be going online to support those, and the whole concept of that particular workshop has been completely rewritten at this present moment.
Is that going into the learning pool?
No, not necessarily. Not all of it. Parts of it will be. And parts of it will be available openly and publicly on the web with additional resources for staff.
If people want training between now and then, can they contact you?
Absolutely. Just contact LPDC at Keele.
Or Matt's mobile number is
.ac.uk, and our admin team will take a booking request, and we'll get something sorted out. It's not a problem to do that.
Brilliant. Thank you. Okay, so again, if you've got any questions, please use the Q&A tool. Drop us the questions in and we'll answer them as quickly as we can. I've actually reached the end of the list that I had. So we had some topics that we wanted to look over, didn't we?
Yeah, just to mention.
Okay, so the first one I'm going to throw to Dan. He's done the most research into this, is the Google Classroom, which some of you will have heard about, some of you won't yet. So we thought we'd address it before people start to wonder what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. I'll just say a little bit about it. As Tim said, it is early days with this. Google, as part of Apps for Education, which we as a university subscribe to, have now released a new product amongst those apps, and they've called it Google Classroom. And you can see up on the screen, that's just a test class, as they call them, which we've set up as a group, and we're just taking a look at a few things in there. At the moment, with it being primarily designed for schools, both primary and secondary, it isn't necessarily set up for use in higher education. So you can see there from the screen again, you have a discussion forum on the front page. You ask your students if you want to use it to enroll via a code, which is automatically generated. And you can set up assignments in there as well, but again, there's a lack of functionality in there which prevents you doing a lot of the things that you would use when managing assignments, say using Turnitin or the KLEs, the Blackboard Zone assignment function. So yeah, it's coming along. From what we know about it, we're told by Google that they are developing it constantly, and they're getting feedback from staff, teachers that are out there using it with their students. Again, they'll probably be mainly at primary and secondary level, but there is the potential for this to be developed quite quickly, especially with the resources that Google have got at their disposal, I would say. So yeah, one to watch. If you do want to have a mess around with it, it's there for you to play with.
Don't think it's ready for summative assessments, really, is it?
No.
It's maybe for a bit of formative
It is
work.
formative, bit of fun, formative work at the moment.
Yeah.
But if I remember back 3 or 4 years when we were future scoping technology, it was at an ALT meeting, Association of Learning Technology, and we were all going, oh yeah, Google could become a VLE. They could do a classroom-based product, and we asked some people from Google at the time, and they said, no, we wouldn't have any dreams of doing something like that. And lo and behold, we have Google Classroom.
Yeah.
So they can prototype and push through developments quite quickly when it suits them.
Are you classing Google Classroom as a VLE yet?
Not at the moment, personally. I wouldn't say it's quite there because of what Dan's already indicated. It's not mature as a product. It would work well for single small classroom sizes, 30, 40 students at a high school. It would struggle to work with the complexities of a full assessment regime. There's no way that you would ever bring it into an exam situation unless they took another huge leap forward in the future.
Which Google can do.
They can do, they could do. We are watching this space with interest.
Yeah, I think it's exciting that Google are heading in that direction. It'll certainly keep Blackboard on their toes, I would imagine.
Absolutely, and the Moodle environments.
Yeah,
everybody's got to be, and the new on Canvas from Instructure. All these companies have got to be bang on with their products to look at this new emerging developments.
We'll certainly feedback within this forum as to.
We'll definitely keep.
We'll keep playing.
Abreast of that.
Yes.
We'll mess around.
Okay, so the next one, I'm just pulling up the pages for here, is we wanted to just give people a quick roundup of the pre-arrival online induction that our new students will be given this year, like they were given last year, which seemed to be really popular and really support the students getting on with our systems before they arrived. So I'm just going to show you some pages there. They're a work in progress. They'll be up and ready to go hopefully by Monday. But just to give you a general idea of what the students are being shown, they're given an introduction online here to Kiel IT services, to their Google email, to their digital footprint, which is giving them a talk about their use of social media and their online presence, and making sure that they're not portraying themselves in a negative light before they enter the jobs market.
I'll just say, Tim, I love the new design that's been worked on by the web team.
Yes,
this is.
I would love to know the name to credit the person, but the name escapes me at the moment. Ian Munton, as the head of the SSDS, is obviously guiding the development of this, and there is a nice new look to the front end of this. It looked a bit bland last year.
Yeah, this looks far more exciting and engaging for everybody. Sorry, carry on.
No, we have an introduction to the Kiel app for those that want to download the Kiel app to their smartphones, and we have a rather good introduction to the KLE, which this year has been co-authored by myself and Jonathan Knight from IT Services. So it really gives the students a good idea of how to get on into the KLE and actually what is housed within the KLE, being that it's now one of our main portals for the students. After that, they're directed to go off into the KLE, and they're taken into this module here, where they are welcomed into the environment, given an introduction to Google Apps for education. So that is things like the Google Drive, Google Calendar, They're given an introduction to the libraries that we have at Keele, both the main library up here and the health library. They have an introduction to e-submission and assessment, which includes some information on plagiarism and examinations. Student support, given an introduction to PebblePad, which obviously leads into the next one, which is the DKC, the development strand. And then we have a section on living and learning at Keele, which is a bit more about the social aspect. And we have a stage here, which is the English language unit for those students that need a bit of support with their English language. And we just have a final area just to help them self-check their knowledge from this induction process.
Tim, can I ask a question? Can staff get access to this?
Yes, we will be turning on guest access once it's been fully updated for this year. We didn't want to worry people by letting them have a look at it with out-of-date information. So once it's fully updated, we'll be giving out the link so that you can come and have a look at this.
So essentially all students who are coming in this year will be fully inducted in how to use the KLE and in lots of the core services that are available at Keele.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to help a lot in the schools with their induction processes.
Yeah. With the KLE, we only go into the basics. We don't take them into things like how to use a discussion board, how to use the chat room, but we do induct them onto how to get to their module, how to navigate their module, and what everything else in the KLE does. Typically we get a lot of questions as to I've clicked this and that's happened, and students get lost rather quickly when it's a system they've not used before. The KLE is a very large environment, so hopefully this is going to help the students get on board quicker. As I say, we're hoping to go out from Monday the 1st of September, so lecturers that want to open up their courses a little earlier for students to start doing some pre-reading, some pre-discussion, anything like that, should find that they'll slowly start to get students coming on board. It's not something that we're making a compulsory element, so there's no guarantee your students will arrive in your course before the start date, but it's a nice lead-in for the students, and they should arrive a lot more informed. Okay, so the next one, Matt, we wanted to talk about Association of Learning Technologists and our membership here at Keele.
Yeah, well, the Association of Learning Technology has had connections with Keele for several years, and as an institution, we are institutional members of the association, which gives associate membership to all staff at Keele. So everybody at Keele who's got any vague interest in technology can sign themselves in as an associate member, and they'll get access to the online journals, articles, publications. They'll be able to see all the proceedings from the conference, which is actually taking place next week, and there's several members of staff, including myself, going to that from Keele. It's where the latest thinking takes place around technology across higher education and further education within the UK and internationally. This year's been held in Warwick, and for those of you who are on Twitter and use your hashtags, if you follow the hashtag AltC or AltC 2014, you'll see what's going on this year.
They're promoting #AltC as the main one, but yes, some people do end up post-fixing with the year, don't they?
They do sometimes put the year on. Twitter's pretty good, and it'll find the feeds, but you'll find stuff. Some of the keynotes will be streamed live.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to watch those on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week.
And of course, their Twitter account is @A_L_T, as you can see here. And they're already starting to build up to their conference. So you can see here there's already a hashtag there. We can see some of the people that are already letting us know that they're getting ready to go to AltC.
It's also worth mentioning the alt mailing list as well, which even if you don't have time to get to the website, just to sign up to those. You might not have any intention to engage in the discussion, but just to read the things that can drop into your inbox can be quite interesting as well.
There can be some really good themes that can emerge with input from experts right across the UK.
Sometimes it's good to filter that off into a separate.
Oh yes,
box.
it can get quite excitable.
Yes,
we can sort of end up with 15 to 20 replies in a day. If
you can digest it, can't you?
You can.
Yeah, you can set it to a daily or weekly digest as well. Okay. So that's Alt membership and Alt C. There was a couple of news items that have come out very recently as well that just wanted to highlight. So we've got one here from BBC News Technology. Ministry of Justice fined over prison data loss. So the Information Commissioner's Office has fined them £180,000 for serious failings in the handling of confidential data. What appears to have happened is that staff in the prison service were provided with backup hard drives, portable backup hard drives, but they forgot to inform their staff that the encrypted feature is something that the staff had to manually turn on themselves. And so evidently they didn't turn this on, and a hard drive has got lost with 3,000 prisoners' details on. Not exactly the smartest of things to do, really. But the reason I thought this was worth mentioning on this podcast is really to remind staff we're going into a new academic year now. We've just gone past the end of a financial year, which we all know is when lots of new bits of kit get bought up, using up the end of budgets. And it's just to remind staff, really, that any portable device has to be encrypted. So all of the USB memory sticks you've got, if they've got student data on them, some people still aren't aware that the university policy is that must be encrypted, and some people aren't aware that their portable devices need to be encrypted as well. Now, with things like the Apple iPads and iPhones, just turning on the passcode usually encrypts the data that's in there. It's a good start anyway. But obviously the IT service desk will be able to help you with any queries on that. I think they actually sell some encrypted USB memory sticks as well.
They do.
They're not the cheapest in the world, but
depends what you've got to carry home.
Yeah, it's cheaper than paying the ICO a fine fee.
Yeah, that really wouldn't be good.
Okay. The last one that I wanted to point out, just again because people have got new equipment, etc., is and we see more and more of these lately, is HP are recalling 6 million power cords. Evidently there's a problem with them, that they can overheat. So they are recalling all of these power cords. You can look up the numbers that you have to look for example, on the BBC website at the moment. But they were sold on products between September 2010 and June 2012. So that is a long period to look for. But then again, with us getting rid of technology so quickly, cycling technology so quickly, it might be that a lot of these cables are now no longer used.
Well, everything from 2011 to 2012 would still be in use, because we tend to run a 3-year cycle on technology in the shortest instances. So yeah, it's definitely worth checking if you've got it's HP, was it?
That was Hewlett-Packard power cable.
Cables.
So especially the laptops, if you're using something that is very power hungry like a laptop, you definitely need to check your cables on that. But recently, for example, Apple, their iPhones, iPhone 5, they've recalled certain serial numbers because of battery problems. They've recalled other iPhone 5s because of their power button problem. But these companies tend to keep this rather quiet. And I guess until we move to standardized equipment at Kiel, it's down to individuals and departmental IT technicians, I guess, to keep abreast of looking out for these things. But it is worrying, the number of recalls that are happening. Do you guys think that the number of recalls is because companies are being more honest about these things, or because there's less rigorous checking on them before they go out?
Bit of both. I think there's a responsibility on the companies to actually check what they produce. It would only take them to lose one or two big corporate clients, and their businesses would struggle. So yeah, I think it's responsibility.
Okay. So we haven't had any further questions coming in. I know we've got a few people watching us live, so I'm guessing they're happy with everything that we're saying. Did either of you have anything else you wanted to?
I'm looking forward to
that. Come up?
The only thing that's come up recently that wasn't on our sort of agendas for today is that with the really positive feedback you've been giving to us for the first session that we recorded, we hope this continues. When you all come back to teaching term starts again with the semester and full swing, you'll have lots of questions, we'll have lots to answer, we'll provide a forum for you to do that. We're also hoping to invite staff from the IT help desk who will be able to come in and answer queries that are occurring on a regular basis, so they can put some of those things straight away. And if you've got questions around audio-visual as well, we'll get representatives from the AV services here.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to make this meeting and these webinars as inclusive as possible.
Yeah. Let us know if you prefer this layout. Obviously, we've done things slightly different in this episode to the last one. We're all together for this one. If you think that this one has been better audio-wise, visual-wise, I think we need a bit more lighting on Matt, but we can sort that out. Hopefully, we're going to move into the AVS studio later on in the year, so we'll have a purpose environment for recording these. But please give us loads of feedback, loads of comments, like us on YouTube if you're watching this video later on. It all helps us give some evidence to the fact that you're enjoying these, and we will keep them going. So thank you for watching. Hopefully we'll see you again in September.
Thank you.
Thank you.